What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Highlight 30, the last one of 2021. Oh, you're not next to me, but you're right there at least. So something's better than nothing there. Obviously, hope everyone had a great holiday season, but not more importantly, but still important is that's not the only season still going on, eh?
Yeah, we got bowl season, and we're going to be talking about all the ranked matchups that we have. We're going to break them down, the spreads, the over-unders, and give our takes of what we like. And the games start tomorrow. I mean, they started today here on Tuesday, but we're going to break them down for the rest of the week and into the new year.
Yeah, and this is pretty dependent on, hopefully we don't see any more cancellations due to the big C that's been going around, the new wave. It's definitely affected a lot of people, a lot of, these poor kids. Could you imagine being a senior, having to be your last game, looking forward to a bowl game, and then the other team gets it or something, just doesn't go as planned?
I know they canceled USC, UCLA today, like 3 hours before bowl game. I compared it today. I was watching which game was it? Auburn and did Auburn play?
Auburn had Houston.
Houston, and I compared like the COVID to like a kid got a targeting. He was a senior. It was like his 51st game or something. It's like it's so tragic when they go out like that. But I mean, they've had a heck of a run if they played 51 or so games. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a long time. A lot of hours put in. And, that's the worst part about it. You put in all those hours and then really have nothing to show for it. You can't even play to at least have a cherry on top. Even if you lose, just get the experience in front of all those fans.
Stupid, but we can get into it. So we'll go with tomorrow, 12:29. We got two big games. So we have Clemson versus Iowa State, and we have Oklahoma versus Oregon. So we start with Clemson versus Iowa State, and this is the Cheez-It Bowl at 5:45 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, playing down in Orlando, good for the Iowa State boys to have some warm weather finally for a game. I feel like they've been playing in the tundra for the last 6 weeks or so. Have it here at, -2.5 on Clemson's edge there going in. What's kind of your take there?
I'm a big Clemson believer, even though they've been struggling. I think their defense just keeps them in the game. You said the spread's 2.5. I think Clemson covers it due to their defense being a top 15 team in points allowed. I also think Brock Purdy, the Iowa State quarterback, is good, but he makes those crucial turnovers that's going to hurt them. I'm pretty sure Clemson's like 8-4 or 9-3, and Iowa State's 7-5. So Clemson's obviously the better team. We know they have more talent, and I think I would say 23-13 Clemson here. I don't think they're going to give up many points, and I think Will Shipley is, gonna be a difference maker. And I know you're high on him.
Yeah, I don't really see this one even really being a game necessarily. I think Dabo's coming. He knows what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Clemson, surprising not to see them in the college football playoff this year, especially, with DJ, high hopes for him going in, but
yeah,
9-3 is still a good record to post, puts them at the 19 spot at the end of the year. And I think they kind of just cruise through this. I totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, Clemson's just been doing so good. And it's like, I saw they had 4 decommitments in the last week. And it's like Clemson, they don't struggle for too long. So I know they're gonna probably blow them out, or they're gonna win this game easily, and then Clemson's gonna be right back on the map.
Yeah, definitely big turnaround day for them. Obviously, transfer portal, all that fun stuff's going on too.
Yeah, Dabo's not a big fan, but it's just part of the game.
True.
Norvell's been playing it with Florida State, and you have to when the freshmen are transferring like they are, and kids just aren't developed when they come in, so you need instant impact. So he'll soon learn, and Clemson will be right back up there in the playoff picture here in the coming years.
Yeah, definitely.
We have Oklahoma versus Oregon in the Valero Alamo Bowl tomorrow at 9:15.
Yeah, I think this will be a good one. Obviously, both teams are kind of a dumpster fire in a way.
Yeah.
Both of them are losing their head coaches, just taking their own paths. Oklahoma Lincoln Riley going to the USC, and then we got the Oregon guy, whatever his name is, heading down to Miami. But yeah, I did see that as well. They're kind of treating it like the Lily World Series, kind of just like enjoying their time. Like that's how it should. That's how it should be.
Yeah,
it's not life or death. It's a bowl game. They're here to have fun, and that's why seeing that under over at 60 or whatever it is, I think there's not going to be much defense. It's going to look like the NBA All-Star game out there.
Well, that's what I think. I think Oklahoma already doesn't have a good defense, and then when you have 2 coaches that are going to be like the assistant coaches stepping up, I think they're all going to be motivated to play. We're going to see some big plays. Oklahoma sure sure has that potential. And then I think Oregon's going to have to score to keep up, which they will. And but I think Oklahoma wins this in the end, just due to more talent. And I'm not a big believer in Oregon's quarterback. He transferred from Boston College, Anthony something. Can't think of his name, but I think it comes down to Oklahoma just having more talent. I think it's 38-31. I think the spread hits barely. I wouldn't bet it, but I would for sure take money line Oklahoma.
Yeah, and that over too. I mean, Oregon doesn't have much competition really out there in the Pac-12, and Utah kind of just made them. They're just basically Utah's their dad. So other than that,
Oregon's had one good game, and that was versus Ohio State. And I think Ohio State was still finding their footing, but since then, like everyone's respected them. But I mean, they've been beat by Utah, 38-3 and like 45-7. They haven't even been close.
yeah, not even a game. So that covers everything for the 29th there.
So if you
On
were
to
to
the 30th.
parlay that, I would go Clemson and Oklahoma, and I would take Clemson spread and Oklahoma money line.
Yeah, I like Clemson and then the over in the Oklahoma-Oregon game for that there. Those two, because get a little action on the games tomorrow. There is more games tomorrow. Those are just the ranked ones that we're looking at here in all this, but obviously it's more fun watching better football rather than some sloppy stuff going around there.
Yeah, we don't want to give like 30 games, so I think we're covering like 11 ranked games. So
Yeah.
We're covering the good ones, and then you guys can throw in some of the other teams just to kind of give a bigger payout.
Yeah, like
Moving
that.
to the 30th, which is Thursday, we have one big game, and that is Pitt versus Michigan State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 7:00.
Yeah, so this one's down in Atlanta in the Superdome there. So like huge stage, two teams that both of us love watching throughout the whole entire year.
They've been our dogs.
Just kind of unfortunate that both teams' best offensive player are sitting this one out for the draft.
Yeah.
With Pickett and Walker there.
Pickett, quarterback for Pitt, and then Kenneth Walker, running back for Michigan State, are both opting out. So it's going to play a big part, but I think it kind of, cancels each other out. And so then it just comes down to how talented is the rest of the rosters. So what do you think here?
So spread coming in is Michigan State -2.5. Obviously, both teams missing their biggest offensive weapon, but that Pitt backup isn't just a true freshman coming out of nowhere. He's just been around the program for 3-4 years, so he's seen it. He's been playing behind Pickett. Gives him competition beginning of the year, stuff like that. So I feel like the kid's going to be a gamer, and I think Pitt's able to just pull this one out because Michigan State's pass defense is subpar, to give them credit.
Bottom three, and I think that's going to be the difference maker. Watching them versus Ohio State, I mean, it didn't even look like they were a good team. And if Pitt comes out hot, then, I mean, we've seen Michigan State's had to rely on Kenneth Walker all year. So I don't see them keeping up offensively, and I just see Pitt running away with this.
Yeah, I mean, what a transfer for Kenneth Walker there too. Like,
well, it's crazy when you're just given a better opportunity. You see what these kids do with it, because you see, okay, kid enters a transfer portal. You think he's not good, but it's just how they're used. It's just like Micah Pittman, who's now coming to Florida State, receiver. It's like if he's utilized, the talent's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think Pitt takes this one at least 31-20. I think they cover spread. When a spread's that small, I always take the money line. So
the dogs.
Yeah, I would ride Pitt here all the way.
Yeah, and then that takes us right into the playoffs. Oh no, wait, there's one more on the 31st. How can we forget?
This was the 30th.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for the 30th. That's all we got there, right?
Oh yeah.
So then, we got the playoffs on the 31st, but there is one more ranked team playing, and it's right in our backyard here.
Oh yeah, Wake Forest versus Rutgers. That should be a blowout.
Yeah, Wake -15 doesn't scare me one bit.
But people are going to be scared by that. They're going to think that's a lot of points. If you want to buy a point to make it 2 touchdowns, so it pushes. If for some reason Rutgers stays in this game, you can. But there's just no way Wake Forest does not come out scoring 40 in the first half.
This offense has been so fun to watch all year. Vegas has given them ridiculously high under-overs all year, and they just continue to put up points. I was just looking at their schedule earlier. They finished against Army 70-56.
I watched that game. Ridiculous.
So even if, Rutgers is going to put up some points, if Army's able to put up 56 against them, I don't think their defense is great, but their offense just continues to beat dead horses, and they've done it all year. I think that's what we're going to see here.
Well, I think it's just, I mean, Wake Forest was playing Texas A&M, who's obviously a better team. And now you match them up with Rutgers, who probably hasn't prepared much because they just got this game a couple days ago. They're just going to come out here and have fun, and it's not going to be much fun for them.
No, and somehow they got placed in there for academic progress.
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about Rutgers in the past, and that to me just doesn't quite line up. But hey, they're here, and good luck, boys. Have fun.
No, I think 15 is it. Don't be scared of it. I think I gave a score prediction of 52-17, and I think that's pretty fair for Rutgers. I think it could be worse.
Yeah, just depends when they decide to put their foot on the brakes.
Now we got the big two games, the playoff games that everyone is looking forward to. Maybe not these set of games, but the championship game. But we gotta break these down first. So first we have Cincy versus Bama. It's a Cotton Bowl at 3:30, and the spread is 13.5 in favor of Bama. And these lines can obviously change. They're probably not going to change much, but these are our takes at these given lines.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone just wants to go for Bama here. Like, no one gives credit to Cincy, not being in, the Power 5 conferences, where they in the American, not getting any credit.
Power 5 or Power 5 team.
Yeah, they're just off, not the Big Four.
Group of five, sorry.
Yeah. So, just off the beaten path, but they haven't lost this year yet. Not too many quality wins. They beat Notre Dame early, but somehow Notre Dame's still here. We'll get to that in a little bit. But
yeah, I think it's hard to tell what teams are going to show up between Bama and Cincy, because Cincy some games blow out teams, sometimes they don't. Cincy finds a way to stay in games and win them. Obviously, Bama's a different opponent, but we just don't know. Is Cincy going to compete, or are they going to be like Notre Dame, who just can't compete with these big teams and get blown out? So the spread itself is scary, and it's probably not fun just betting Alabama money line, but I mean, you'd rather not just throw money away. So I would just take Bama money line. They'll probably blow them out, but it's risky.
Yeah, definitely a little sketchy one there. And the under over is 57.5. That's something. This is a game where I could see, maybe a live bet being placed. Because once you see a drive from each team, maybe you're like, okay, maybe now I have a read on it. But like if you see a Bama 3 and out to start
early, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a Bama 3 and out since he scores early. Maybe put a little juice in there. Something could get a little interesting. Maybe take Bama first half. I think I'm staying away from this full game line just because of the chance of like a backdoor cover.
Yeah, I agree. You just don't know. And I think the same thing is the next game. You have 7.5 in favor of Georgia. You really just don't know what teams are going to show up. I do think Georgia will cover it. Like you said, they're coming off a big loss to Bama. They're going to come out motivated. Michigan's coming off a big win. I think Michigan's strength is running, and Georgia's is run D. So I think Georgia's the better of the two of those strengths. And I think Georgia wins this. I think Michigan stays in the game, but I think they lose by like 10. So again, the spread's scary, but I think Georgia money line is the safe bet.
Yeah, I think it would be a comfortable 10 too. I mean, we haven't seen any offense do anything against this Georgia defense except for Bama. And that's just Saban doing Saban things. He finds his way around just about anything. He's like the Belichick of college football. So
yeah, but I'd say if you're betting on these two games, I would take Cincy to cover 13.5 and Georgia to cover 7.5. So Georgia to win by more than 7.5 and Cincy to lose by less than 13.5. And you can even buy a point in the Cincy game. So you have 2 touchdown spread, and the Georgia, I think that spread's pretty fair.
Yeah, that buying a point in the Cincy game is big because you really never know.
Yeah, it saved me a couple times. But yeah, those are those games. I think they're going to be better games than people think. But I mean, we have a for sure winner in each. That's like the obvious one. So we could see upsets. I think if anything, Michigan would pull off an upset because they have more talent than Cincy does. But I think we're going to see Bama and Georgia in the finals.
And I'm excited for that, though. I really am.
They're the best two teams.
A real good revenge. They played a few years back in the Tua game when he came in after that. So
yeah, I think
I feel like Kirby wants this.
Yeah, but Kirby we can move on to there's 5 games on New Year's Day. And the first one is Penn State versus number 21 Arkansas in the Outback Bowl at 12 o'clock. And it's a 1.5 spread in favor of Arkansas.
Yeah, so this one's being played down in Tampa where the Bucks play at Raymond James. So Penn State gets to kind of experience some nice warm weather here too.
Yeah.
They did slip out of the top 25. I think they finished 7-5, but just some real tough teams they had to run into. You know,
Yeah.
whether it be
I've watched Arkansas a couple times. I'm not a big fan. Their offensive coordinator is Briles, who used to coordinate for FSU, and he just does too many split screens, too many, not enough down the field. And I think Penn State's defense is their strength, and that is going to win them the game. And you were talking about Sean Clifford, how this is potentially his last game. He's going to be motivated. They played Ohio State well, who I think has the best offense in college football, and their defense showed up. So I think this is a good game to win some money on, including the next one we're going to talk about. But I would take Penn State money line here.
Yeah. And on top of that, definitely Clifford, he's a leader. He's been there forever. I feel like that's usually the case for a lot of Penn State quarterbacks. Just like, oh, he's back again. But the under over in that game is only 48. You may see only Penn State's got a good defense, but like you were saying, I think these teams are gonna be able to move the ball down the field. And I think points are gonna be scored. I mean, we put a high score prediction. Yeah. I mean,
and I think James Franklin, you were saying this earlier, he's such a good coach. He's going to have them ready. Yeah. Penn State's a good team. It doesn't show it by their record. They've, had some tough losses, like some close games, and they could easily be like a 9-3, 10-2 team. So I think Arkansas got experience in playing in the SEC this year for some good teams, but in the end, I think Penn State wins this one.
Yeah. And then moving right along, we have number 9, Oklahoma State versus number 5, somehow, Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl, playing where the Cardinals play out in Glendale, Arizona.
Hammer, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about this Notre Dame team. Jack Cohen, where'd he come from? Wisconsin. He's a Long Island boy originally.
Overrated team.
Just over it. This whole team. I mean, yeah, you got to love the tradition of Notre Dame, all that kind of stuff like that. They're just squeaking by. They snuck by all year.
The only hope they have is to play a motivated game for their new coach, Marcus Freeman, who just got promoted from DC. That's the only hope they have, is that he has magically, made this team like a consistent team that's going to show up. Jack Cohen's the new Tom Brady, and they just play, out of their minds for him. Hopefully that's the case. I like that new coach, but I think Oklahoma State's defense is good, and they'll be able to translate good defense into good offense. And I think Oklahoma State wins this. And I think these are two games where the spread's not in the favor of the teams we're picking, with Penn State and Oklahoma State. So I think New Year's Day is going to be a big one. So you got to be ready for that.
Start too. Penn State's at noon. Oklahoma State's at 1. And one other quick note on Oklahoma State is just that running back, Jalen Warren, I've seen him run a decent amount this year. Yeah. I mean, he's not afraid to put his head down at anyone. And obviously, Notre Dame brings some hard-hitting linebackers. Yeah. But I think this game gets won by Oklahoma State by just winning the field possession battle, just where you're going to start your drives. Yeah. I think they're going to be able to get down in Notre Dame territory, pin them back, and Notre Dame's going to be struggling to get first downs, and then they're just going to have to attack from there. So
I like that analysis. You seem pretty passionate about that one.
Yeah, that one I'm all in on. Just
unless Monte Teo or whatever his name comes back and plays for Notre Dame, I don't know if they got a chance, but
yeah.
We'll see. But moving on, we got 3 more games, so we can kind of wrap this up so you guys are able to watch this whole video and get all your, your picks in. So we have number 15, Iowa versus 22, Kentucky. It's 1:00 in the Citrus Bowl. The spread is 3 in favor of Kentucky. I think we both like Kentucky. We think Iowa is a little bit overrated. They always have a good defense, but the offense is so bad that I think it's just going to come back to hurt them.
Yeah, I was looking at this one off the start and kind of just thinking back. Like at one point, Iowa was ranked 3rd in the country. Yeah. Like, with a big win from Maryland.
Teams losing, I think.
Yeah, they just found the way that they snuck in. I was looking. Spencer Petras has 9 touchdown passes and 6 picks this year, and I think we just kind of overlooked that completely. Obviously, we know their defense is good, but I was looking at Kentucky's defense is just as good, and they played in the SEC, not the Big Ten.
I like them. I've watched them. It's not like anyone stands out. Their quarterback's pretty good. Looking for his name here.
Will Levis.
Yeah. Will Lewis. He's good. He's just consistent. He's tough. We watched him versus UF. He brings like that dog mentality that, he's going to have one big play and it's going to rally them up. And I think it's going to be close, but I think Kentucky pulls away at the end with a big touchdown. And Iowa's not going to be able to run like a 2-minute offense to tie it up. It's just not their system.
Yeah, I think Iowa's lucky if they get down to a point where they have a 2-minute drill in place.
Yeah.
I think
They're
this could be
screwed.
done even before that.
Yeah, they're screwed if so. But yeah, we like Kentucky there. So you can kind of pair all those up. You can do Penn State, Oklahoma State, and Kentucky. You can either take their spread or money line. If you take their spread, I would just buy a half a point just to be safe if it does come down to that. But I think you should be fine with the 3 points.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Maybe the first little bet of the new year of 2022.
I think it's a hit. And people, better come thank us and give us a little subscribe if we hit those 3, because I think that's a big one. That's my favorite bet of all these games.
Yeah, I mean, you parlay 2 dogs and then a -110 at the -3, maybe by the half point.
Yeah.
You get a little pretty payout, maybe a little something to go into that.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. It'd be fun to watch because all the games are right there. So if you do lose, you can maybe throw a couple on these last 2 games we're about to talk about. And if you win, you can celebrate New Year's on a good note.
Yeah, there you go. So this one, I think, or you can kind of realize how much money you spent the night before on New Year's Eve and be like, all right, at least this bet hit.
Yeah.
But this next one, I'm gonna intro into this one because you are a fan of one of these teams.
Yeah.
We have number 11 Utah taking on the number 6 Ohio State Buckeyes with a Buckeyes -4.5 point spread. This is the Rose Bowl out in Pasadena.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but you could. This is an upset game, and I'm telling you, as an Ohio State fan, I'm obviously going to be cheering for them. But as a bettor, I am not, due to the fact that Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, 2 first-round picks, are opting out. You have C.J. Stroud, his first year playing quarterback. He doesn't have anyone to rely on the passing game. The only one would be the tight end, and he's good, but he's not a game changer. And then you have a freshman running back. And the reason the running back had success was because everyone was just playing the pass. So you didn't pile the box. And then the defenses are like awful. They're awful. I don't know how you bring in so much talent and then you put this bad of a defense. They fired their D coordinator. They're bringing in Oklahoma State's. I think Utah's looked insane. They have like one of the best linebackers in the country in Devin Lloyd, number 0. Like, honestly, he's fun to watch. I've watched a game with Utah. You've got to watch him. And I think Utah is just not going to make mistakes, and Ohio State is, and that's what's going to come to a 45-35 Utah dub, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it does come down to discipline. Ryan Day, great coach, keeps their guys disciplined, but I feel like Utah is just a well-oiled machine in the discipline game of things, and that kind of just carries them as well.
But yeah, you literally take all your offense away by taking those 2 guys out. You have one receiver left, number 11. Can't think of his name. Good, but he gets open due to Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson by taking those double coverages, the safety help. It's going to be a tough road for Ohio State. They're obviously talented. It's going to be a good game, but I think Utah, just experience-wise, is going to outmatch them.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun little shootout. And I think this last game, too, will as well. Number 7 Baylor versus number 8 Ole Miss. I mean, I think we're both on the same page here. Being a Giants fan, I would love for them to take one of their early picks on him and just maybe say goodbye to Daniel Jones. So I think, and he had a quote: "If I'm healthy, I'm playing."
Exactly.
That's what you want leading your team.
That represents him so right, because you see all these players opt out, and I get it. You're about to go make millions, but I mean, the university is giving so much to these kids that go play the bowl game, go win. This is what you play for all year. Just because you didn't make the playoffs doesn't mean you just give up. You're still in the Sugar Bowl, and so I love that from him. I think that mentality is what has won them games all year. Ole Miss is finally like, you can't just run over them anymore. I remember you talked to Eli Manning about them making jokes, and now they're finally good. And so
now look who's laughing there. Yeah, I mean, he's been a dog all year. He's fun to watch. Playing at the Superdome in New Orleans, huge crowd. I feel like he's going to be there. I feel like Baylor travels well too.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously it's a 1-point spread in favor of Ole Miss for a reason. But I just think Ole Miss is going to have more offense. And Baylor, you saw an Oklahoma State game that got off to a hot start, but then they barely scored the rest of the game. So yeah, I just don't think Ole Miss is going to have many droughts in the game, and that's going to be the difference maker.
Yeah, I think also Lane Kiffin, probably top 3 college football coaches in my mind. Like, whether obviously he is a great coach, but just how he carries himself, how he holds a team. Like, I feel like Matt Corral's taking after him at this point in the game.
Yeah, I'd love to play for him. He adds that swagger.
Yeah, and
one
thing that he's done in the past is he does know the spreads. He has tweeted out before, 55.5 here. That's going to be my hammer for the last game of our coverage there. Why not?
I think
Life's
this
too
is
short to bet the under.
42-31.
Yeah. What do you have it there?
42-31 Ole Miss.
Yeah, that would hammer that. Life's too short to bet the under. Just let it
Yeah.
ride.
But I think that wraps up our 11 games. I'm going to put all of our top bets for each game either in the beginning of the video or at the end, so you'll be able to see it and take a screenshot. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. And then after these games, we'll maybe do like a short video and see what we were successful on and what we weren't. Hopefully it'll be quick and we just say hit, 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 hit. But that's just not betting. So we appreciate it. And you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, thanks all for tuning in. If you made it this far, we are recording on December the 28th here today. So hopefully we get this out, in time for all these games. So you guys don't think after we hit our first few in a row, like, oh, they must have recorded this after. No, just how it works there. And kind of all I have to leave on is RIP to a legend, John Madden. Obviously tough that he did pass today, but yeah, let's enjoy all these bowl games and hopefully get the new year off to a hot start.
Yep. And we just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Swantzn.
Swantzn, baby. Peace.